No, it's just communication with Vaughn in this case, or any player for that matter, of just trying to manage things. And sometimes they're sore more one day than the other. And so just trying to stay on top of it. That's all.
And then Jordan being ruled out, just Jaquan, how confident are you in him? And obviously he's had more experience this season, but him and DeMar back there and, having him step into that role again.
Yeah, we're very confident in Jaquan and DeMar, obviously. And then Cam Lewis as well has been working back there as well as now as well as Dean now. So very confident in those guys.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. Obviously, I know the report comes out later or whatever, but I'll just follow with Vaughn. Elena covered most of that, but is there any threat to him not playing in this game at this point?
Yeah, just day to day, Adam. We'll see. I couldn't tell you any more information at this point. We'll go out there and see how practice goes today, and I'll get a better feel after practice.
You do anticipate him practicing, though?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, how have you seen Terrell Bernard grow in the early portion here of his rookie season?
Yeah, I mean, he was very mature when he arrived, John, and he's done a really good job with whatever role he's been asked to do, special teams mostly, and now defensively. And he's played, sparingly at times on defense and done a good job. And so, I think he's had a good week of preparation, and we'll see where that goes as we go through the rest of the week here.
I sat down with Bobby Babich this week. Can you take me back to your thought process and conversations with him and making the move and presenting him with the idea of going to safety or linebackers, excuse me? Yeah,
Bobby and I have a good relationship. We've been around each other for a long time, going back to the first years in Carolina. And then he left and went to Cleveland with Rob Chudzinski. But it was good to get reacquainted and reunited with Bobby and his family here. He's always done a great job in whatever role he's had. And, we've talked about careers, and I know what he wants to do in his career. And, I had a similar opportunity in Philadelphia in my career where I was working primarily with the defensive backfield, and then got a chance to round out my experience as a linebackers coach. And so, when the passing game, I think the passing game is the key to defense in this case. And Bobby has great knowledge of the passing game and has done a great job with their backers to this point.
How have you seen his knowledge as a defensive backs coach filter into the play with the linebackers?
Yeah, well, it's all connected, right? And again, I think when you start with the pass, it's easier to work back to front in that regard. So when you can get players to understand the passing game, the concepts, the system, and the way it works, and then what the indicators are and what's trending around the league and evolving, it makes the game a lot simpler and slows the game down in players' minds.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, just a couple of things. I was wondering first with Spencer Brown, how has he looked this week? I know he's had to work through a good bit early on this season, but just how has he responded and looked recently?
Yeah, yesterday I thought was better than Wednesday, Catherine, and I'm hoping today is better than Thursday. So he's really pushing through it, and we'll see where and how he does today.
And then with Nahiem Hines, now that you've had, I know it's only been really a practice and a half technically, but how have you seen him acclimate, and what's it like getting him up to speed so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it's when you get a player and on a Tuesday, it makes it a little bit more difficult than on Monday. It's crazy to say that, but just within this week, the context of this week, just because of where game plans are and whatnot, but overall, he's done a great job. He's been hungry to learn and be around the team and get in the locker room. He's an energetic young man that has a great personality and good character. So he's been around the league for a few years now, right? So he's fit in well, and I'm sure he's only going to fit in better as the days and weeks go by here in the season.
Josh had recounted a play during Wednesday's practice where he and Steph were turning to each other and being like, oh my gosh, he is so fast. And I know you guys knew that with him coming in, but just have you had any moments like that this week of, I don't know, almost being surprised to see it up close in practice, his speed?
I mean, when you do the work, you get a chance to watch him on tape and remind yourself of his ability, and certainly speed's one of those areas. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to see a player be able to do some things like that, and he's certainly talented, and it'll be good to get him in the fold here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, Zach Wilson and this Jets offense, I mean, very young, inexperienced, but, it seems like they're gathering talent. Like Garrett Wilson specifically has some games where he's really popped this season. What challenges specifically to those two players, Zach and Garrett, present your defense?
What players? Garrett, you said, or
Yeah,
Zach and Garrett?
Zach and Garrett, yeah.
Well, both young players, number one, and I think they're with Garrett. I remember watching him coming out in the draft last year, extremely fast, elusive in space. They use him in jet sweeps. They use him obviously in the passing game. So he's dangerous. And then with Zach, you watch the progress he's made from year one to year two, and the weapons he has around him as well, and how he gets the ball to those guys. And so they've, whether it's Sauce Gardner or Garrett in this case, they've got a lot of young talent on that football team.
Mm-hmm. Is there a specific challenge, with what young quarterbacks that are figuring out week to week? Robert Saleh's talked a lot about that. Like, he's growing as the course of the season. When you haven't played a quarterback, a lot of young quarterback, is there challenges that present itself in that, like just the unknown part of it, because there's such maybe a high ceiling for Zach as he continues to grow?
Yeah, I mean, it's the toughest position to play in the NFL. It's the one that's, for a lot of reasons, and it's the one that's scrutinized the most, right? So I think, in some ways these guys are expected to come in and have it all figured out right away, and there's just so much that you have to digest and process and learn in that position that it takes some time.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, Kaylee. Appreciate it, guys.